This is The Legend of Zelda Hero of Law, a fan-made version of Ocarina of Time developed by Scowo and his team that plays like an Ace Attorney game.
Objection!
If you're unfamiliar with Ace Attorney, they're known as dialogue-heavy games, where you play as esteemed lawyer Phoenix Wright, and the goal is to uncover the truth during trials that are presented to you for a series of cases. Now, in Hero of Law, you don't play as Phoenix Wright, but instead you play as Link, whose sword and shield fighting days have come to an end and has since become Hyrule's #1 defense attorney. The main case revolves around representing Malon, who has been accused of, believe it or not, murdering her own father, Talon. And it's up to the player to prove her innocence throughout the trial by questioning witnesses, presenting evidence, and a bunch of other stuff. Hero of Law feels like such a polished game to play through. The dialogue is just such a joy to read, and I caught myself laughing multiple times throughout this playthrough. The game even has its own original OST, packed with tons of original songs and even some remixes of existing Ocarina of Time songs. The game even has post-game content once you've cleared the main story, which I'm not going to spoil until later because it's just too good. I really hope you enjoy. As always, thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I upload cool vids like this every 2 to 3 weeks. And if you're interested in checking out the entire Hero of Law playthrough, I have the full thing up on my VOD channel, which I've gone ahead and left a link to in the description below. It's so quiet. Do you think they forgot? Forget a royal visitation? No one could make such a blunder, princess. Hey. Oh my god! They went to SawCon, bro, but they didn't make it, dude. They went to SawCon. You'd think that after so many years of doing this, I'd be used to the stress. Gotta look professional. She can't see you like this. This, remix is pretty sick. Hey, you over there. Huh? What is it, attorney? The trial isn't starting yet. Would you happen to know why my client isn't here yet? Wahaha! Well, you weren't the only one with the idea. I believe she's currently in the prosecutor's lobby. What? What is up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, blocks my detention center visits, and now this? Ah, see? There she is. No need to get all worked up. Is something wrong? Did I hear shouting? Okay, so it's actually Malon. Looking sus. How did the investigation go? Did you find anything? She's gonna blame it on Ingo. What did the prosecutor want from you anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. He kept explaining in detail what'll happen to me if I'm found guilty. Doesn't sound like a vital discussion that needed to happen right before the trial. Yeah, honestly, it was probably just Epona, because she's such a dumb horse. She probably ran over Talon and killed him. That's probably, it was like, honestly, probably like case closed. Let's fucking get out of here and do something else. You believe in me, right? I didn't do it. I'd never. Should we click on well ... Well, I might be a little sus. I love the honesty, man. Okay, dude. Sorry, of course I believe you. Oh, course correction. All right, one of those course correct. We got a course correct. What's that you've got there? Oh, this is just a pictograph of father I carried around. Ooh, pictograph. Little MM action. I just can't believe he's gone. All right, so old photo. You see, Epona, you see, look. Look how fucking sus Epona looks. I told you. She's like, she's super sus, dude. Cool. Added to the court record. Anyway, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk about, but could you tell me what actually happened? I understand. Unfortunately, there really isn't much to the trial. Oh, okay. The trial is starting. Defendant attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said that stuff about having no chance. Oh my fucking god, bro. Yo, Judge Raru, brother. Okay, dude. Yo, look at our man in charge right now. Look at the freaking tie on him, dude. He's got a little light medallion fucking pin on his suit, dude. Dragmire. It's no, what? What were they thinking, pitting me against some pathetic kid, dude? It's his last name. It's Ganondorf's last name, Dragmire. Since the prosecution seems ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. The opening, oh, look at the, look at this animation, dude. The opening statement shall also be the closing one. Oh my God, he is passionate, dude. The girl did it, it's obvious. She killed her own father in cold blood, okay. Also, she could have the ranch to herself. No way, dude. You can't allow this man to verbally abuse the defendant like this. Ha! She committed murder, kid. She deserves every bit of scorn she gets. SMH, dude. I do believe a little less commentary wouldn't go amiss. I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all the damning evidence. Who is this guy? How can he speak to the judge like that? Ganondorf It is his last name, dude! No fucking way. I was kidding, dude. Your cousin of Quagmire, giggity. I've even heard some attorneys refer to him as the king of evil. Yeah. Definitely has the look at the very least. Who wears full armor to court? Very well. Please present your case to the court. You don't seem to like me talking, so I'll just let the detective present the basics. Bring Impa of the Sheikah Force to the stand. This is hilarious. Nice Sherlock Holmes fit. I am Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Force, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Start talking! The incident happened early yesterday morning on Lon Lon Ranch, a local supplier of goods located just south of Castletown. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. We were alerted to the scene of the murder by the Royal Guard, who were there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, the ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it is operating as it should, and as a gesture of appreciation, the Crown orders a visitation to the ranch every year. When the Sheikah Force arrived, they found the victim bleeding out onto the floor. Next to him lay his daughter Malin, breathing but unresponsive. After a thorough investigation, we arrested her as she was deemed the only possible culprit. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice and succinct. Keep that up. Perhaps you will keep your job. I don't think the good detective here has to worry much about that, given she is the head of the department in red text. Which reminds me, why is the head of detectives herself on a case like this? That would be because I have been assigned to this case by order of the King of Hyrule himself. I imagine the king wanted the top investigators on this job because it was the royal princess herself who discovered the crime scene, which is true. We saw Zelda open the door and saw him dead. Order! Order! The royal princess Zelda witnessed the crime? Ha! And there you have it. This case rides on the princess's own words. To doubt it would be to doubt your own royalty. Very well. If the princess is testifying today, it's better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. Ooh. It is with regret that I agree with Dragmire. All the evidence points towards this girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. Oh, Mr. Ingo Schmingo, let's see. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. Your Honor, I would like to submit these pieces of evidence to the court. Okay. First, I have the autopsy report performed by the Crown's top coroner. Okay. Sakon, dude, here is what we determined to be the murder weapon, which we took from the defendant's hands. To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the ranch and its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the ranch's inventory list to see whether anything was missing. Dying from a wound made by a weapon like this is extremely painful. This only helps to prove the defendant's viciousness. At this rate, they're going to paint Malin as some heartless monster. Do something, bro! You suck so far. There is one more thing I feel I should mention for the sake of completeness. Shortly after we arrived at the ranch, a courier showed up to take some milk shipments. Were the contents checked before you let them go? Naturally. In the end, it did turn out to only be milk bottles, so we let them through. So what happens now? I love the camera pan so that you could see this side of the court. Well, this is where I step in and perform a cross-examination. The witness will repeat her testimony. I'll be able to scroll back and forth through individual statements by pressing A and B, or with the control stick, okay? If I want more info about something, I can use L or Z to press the statement and ask the witness a question. Most importantly, though, if I find something that doesn't line up with the evidence, I can press R to bring up the court record. After choosing the contradicting item, I'll press up or C up to raise an objection and present my doubts to the court. The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. I think we should L this. You agree? It didn't necessarily take place in the ranch. We don't know that. We just found them in the ranch. Hiya! And just how did you do that? It's quite simple. There was no blood found anywhere else. Couldn't the killer have just cleaned it all up? Cleaning blood off the ground would require disturbing the soil. Naturally, we found nothing of the sort. Right, it sounds like the location of the crime scene is pretty firm, but I'm not giving up yet. All right, that checks out, I guess. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. All right, let's hear this alibi thing. Well, what is this alibi then? You might remember that I brought up some outgoing milk shipments. Well, the worker, Ingo, was in charge of them. Is that so? Surely he could have gotten away from that for one really quick little murder. Yo, way to say it like that, dude. There was definitely not enough time for that. Unfortunately, I agree. Preparing a shipment is a lot of work. This whole thing seems awfully sus, if you ask me, but I guess I have nothing to dispute it with. She was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. All right, we got some Sakon action over here, guys. Let's go. And how can you be so sure of this? Look at the autopsy report. In the flesh too. Deep, irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. The saw was the only sharp implement in the ranch house that could produce such a wound. That still doesn't necessarily mean this saw was the murder weapon. Maybe the real culprit hid the real one. Oh yeah? Prove it then. Show us the real murder weapon. Well, I definitely don't have any way to do that. Still, something bothers me about that saw. All right, we're making moves. Can we give the poacher saw? Let's give the poacher saw here. Huh? This seems like a fairly large oversight. Okay, hang on. I just want to make sure of something. The state the saw is currently in is how you found it at the crime scene? Considering how much the victim bled out and how deep his wound was, why is there no blood on the supposed murder weapon? Huh, is that all you have? Huh? Naturally, the prosecution has an explanation of why the saw is clean. Behold, this cloth was found in the defendant's other hand. Nice fucking anime background, dude. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon in a futile attempt to hide her involvement. If Malin was trying to hide her involvement, why didn't she just leave the crime scene? Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Unfortunately for her, it just so happened that the delegation arrived quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the saw off and pretended to faint to make it look like she just stumbled upon the scene. So, what's the story with this cloth? Well, as I was doing a final check around the ranch, I noticed that part of the fence around the horse paddock was damaged. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Mr. Ingo about it, so I tried to cut up a new rail by myself to patch it up. All roads lead to Epona, man. But then the saw slipped and I cut my hand open. It did bleed quite a lot though, so I used the cloth to quickly bandage the wound. I was actually going into the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence. A likely story. And impossible to verify now, of course. The Shikafors had to use a fairy on the defendant to get her out of her supposed unconsciousness. I do have to give her some credit. She is one cunning woman. She knew that would explain a sudden lack of any wound on her hand. I do believe this matter has been settled. I am ready to call my next witness. Uh-oh. Is that all I can get out of her? You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Be gone! Fine. It is quite the honor to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. Yeah, they made her face different in this. It's not the adult Zelda. It's like a combination of adult and child. In the face of the law, the princess is no different from a peasant. The prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess. Derogatory? I simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure. It is all right, detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. Now then, I am Zelda, current princess of Hyrule and heir apparent to the throne. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at Lon Lon Ranch to witness this terrible incident? Lon Lon Ranch is Hyrule Castle Town's biggest food supplier. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's royal guard with the finest of horses. Every year, the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill and to ensure the quality of the steeds. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day of the incident. I arrived at Lon Lon Ranch a little after 8 a.m., so just after the murder. I could sense that something was wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. Oh my, you saw the very moment the victim was killed? As there's no need to doubt the princess's statement, I call for the judge to make a ruling right away. Hey, now hold on. I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet. You haven't, fool, because there's no need. Didn't you say we should follow all the procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? This is the defense's right. I believe the defense has a point. They do have every right to perform a cross-examination no matter who is testifying. What's gotten into the prosecutor? That seemed like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Because of the princess's status, it's possible that Dragmire didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. Ooh, that might mean that this testimony is a surprise even to him. Before I begin, there's just one thing that caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene. That would be this, I presume? Ooh. Oh, this is a bottle of perfume that father intended to gift to Her Highness when she arrived. As fascinating as this all is, the prosecution doesn't believe it's relevant to the case. It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. The defense requests the bottle be accepted into evidence. In that case, the court accepts. Now then, defense, begin your cross-examination. I arrived at Lon Lon Ranch a little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. If these guards are with Her Highness, why were they not called as witnesses? I was the only one to enter the crime scene. After seeing what was inside, I stood guard and insisted that no one be allowed inside until the Sheikah force arrived. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. So this one right away is weird because the murder took place before 8 a.m. She claims to have witnessed the murder and arrived after 8 a.m. So there's something going on here with this one. But let's do the other ones and see what happens. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. You were there at the exact time of the murder, Your Highness? That is correct. Sussies? That's impossible. You're lying. The defendant will curb her outbursts. You're addressing royalty. This is really bad. What now? Accuse Zelda of the crime? Should I accuse her, dude? I made a save state. I'll try accusing her. Well, if you were there alone, how can we know you didn't do it? Accusing the princess? Pathetic. The defense is truly grasping at straws. You fool! You think a child could overpower a grown adult? Well, maybe the crown wanted the ranch for themselves. Oh. Has the defense... Perhaps a penalty will disabuse this the defense from further unsubstantiated accusations. I extend my most sincere apologies. I don't know what came over me. Nonetheless, I believe a penalty is still very much warranted. Yeah, no. Fuck you. I wasn't gonna pick that. I did it for fun. Ask about the crime scene. Ask about what was outside. I'm gonna ask about the crime scene. Where were the victim and the defendant at this time? The ranch owner was in front of a little table in red, that is directly across from the entrance door. The defendant was right in front of him and quickly fainted after her attack. A large pool of blood started forming where the victim was. I had a rather good view of the whole scene. It is as unfortunate as it is fortunate that you could see the whole thing in such detail. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence. Trust your heart, Your Highness. You know Malin didn't do this. What nonsense! Oh, of course, evidence and testimony be damned just because we feel the defendant must be innocent. Oh, well, if you're sure, then I declare... It was a joke! Much like the arguments that defense has been presenting, bro. Oh my god. Holy shit. I can't believe the princess would lie like this. Yeah, it really is shocking. You don't believe her, right? To trust authority or your best friend. I'll need something very concrete to disprove what the princess is saying. All right, so I arrived at Lon Lon Ranch a little after 8 a.m. accompanied by my loyal guards. So what I want to try here, we have the autopsy. Deep irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. Victim died from loss of blood no later than 8 a.m. This is before 8 a.m. She claims to have seen the murder after 8 a.m. So this is a contradictory, right? What do you say? Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts. Your Highness, you stated that you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 a.m., correct? Yes, the visit was scheduled for 8:30 exactly, but we were quite a bit early. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 a.m. Yes, you've really caught her in a lie. While I wholeheartely respect and serve the crown, I will nonetheless not tolerate lies in my court. I have not lied. I suppose I did not see the exact moment it oh, the slippage. Okay, hang on a second. I remember all of the other details correctly. The body's on the floor, the pool of blood. You have to believe me. Perhaps it'll be best if Her Highness revises her testimony. What I actually saw. I did not see the actual moment of the attack. Miss Malin and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit. Very well. Hopefully there are no issues in your testimony this time. Defense, it's time for cross-exam again. Naturally, Your Honor. But it had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch house. How can you be so sure of that, Princess? Well, when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded into his body. Huh? It is obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not even have enough time to try to hide the weapon. Yes, I might not have seen the murder firsthand, but I must have been very close to doing so. I think it would be advisable for Her Highness to amend her testimony. The murder weapon was still stuck into the victim's body after all. That doesn't necessarily mean that my client was the one to do it, though. What if someone else snuck in before Malin and the princess arrived? Lon Lon Ranch is surrounded by high walls, and the only way in is through a self-locking gate. Not very many people have a key to the gate, just the personnel and the crown. Well, someone could have forced their way in. If you wish to propose such a possibility, you must substantiate it with evidence. Do you have any proof that another person showed up at the ranch house before the princess? So I'm assuming it means we need to click I do, and then we have to present the right thing, right? That's the play. Yeah, maybe someone jumped over the gate with the horse. I think Epona just ran over Talon while he was holding the poacher saw, fixing the fence for Malin when it was broken. Of course I do, smilers! The piece of evidence that shows another person was at the scene of the crime is... So it's not this. I don't think it's this, because this doesn't mean anything. I'm gonna try the cloth first. No, that's one. It wasn't it. These are the traces of another person on the scene. That just shows you have no trace of evidence to go on. Yes, defense, I'm afraid I can't really trace your logic. Yeah. So it's this one or this one? It had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch. Oh, no, I knew. So it... Yeah, right? That's literally what I'm trying to process right now. I'm not crazy about this, right? The weapon was still stuck into the victim's body, but it was clean. I'm like sitting here thinking this, but I'm like second guessing myself because I'm like not sure. Yo, let's go. Okay. I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. It seems the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. I'm a little slow at these, but eventually we get to the finish line. There was a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has argued before that it was used to wipe the saw clean. If the princess saw the saw lodged into Talon's body and the crime scene was left intact, ooh, anime, then it couldn't have been wiped. Grah! Great explanation, man. Your Highness, are you sure that's what you saw? I guess I must have made up the memory about the saw sticking out of Mr. Talon as well. Ooh. I was just so excited to stand as a witness in court just this once. What? Just this once, I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant, it is clear that she did it. I just wanted to play a larger part in her capture. Boo. Your Highness, the court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid we will have to strike your statements from the court record completely. No, please wait. I have more to say. But I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards. Even if you are not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found. Ooh, a new one. Of course, while the Sheikah force investigated inside the ranch house, let me make a state here. I looked around the rest of the ranch on my own. Sheikah, did you know about this? Of course I did. Oh, no, oh man. Order, order. What is the meaning of this, detective? Why have you withheld this from the court? The princess specifically requested to present her finding on her own. I'm not sure how to feel about this. Prosecutor? Naturally, I object to this nonsense. I see. Defense? What do we do? If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmeyer loses his key witness. Well, on the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be our only lead left. The defense requests that the evidence be presented. Please testify once more about the new piece of evidence you found during your own investigation. My findings. Let's see. I wish to express my most heartfelt apologies for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim who was bleeding out. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. When I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odor in the air. I followed the scent and found a burned out fire nearby, and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. And here it is. The oil bottle I found. This might actually be completely irrelevant. Your Honor, despite the fact that this evidence might not seem to add anything at the moment, the defense still asserts its right to a cross-examination. Some straws have been grasped. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. Here's the sussy shit. Okay, let's see. You didn't just go home? I came to the ranch to examine the horses, so I suppose I could at least do that in the meantime. How long did it take the Sheikah to arrive at the scene? I cannot imagine it was more than 20 minutes, okay? Slow pokes. I would be there in half that time, running backwards even. Hey! I suppose it's no surprise, though. Hylian's horses are naturally inferior to our fine Gerudo steeds. Great reference there. I followed the scent and found a burned out fire nearby and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. Princess, how long would you estimate the fire had been out before you found it? Right. There was still smoke rising out of the ashes, so it must have been put out recently. So someone prepared their breakfast there. I repeat, this fire is irrelevant. Mido did it? Yeah. Well, who was it? Who could have lit that fire anyway? It would have to have been the ranch worker who was putting the milk shipments together at the time. Oh. Defense, I believe that is enough. Doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to finding a connection between the fire and the crime at all. No, I suppose not, Your Honor. In that case, this cross-examination is over. Thank you for your time, Your Highness. I assume you have no more revelations to share with us? No, I do not. Really thought the fire would be important. Now that the princess's little game is over, we should move this along. We maintain that the evidence on its own is enough to convict the defendant. I do believe I am nearly ready to hand down my verdict. But Your Honor, there's nothing that definitively shows that Malin committed the crime. This is all circumstantial. There's no way she could kill her own father. That is an excellent point, defense. Prosecution is yet to elaborate on the defendant's motive. I would like to call in my third witness. That has to be that ranch worker. Before calling him in, though, the prosecution requests a brief recess to prepare. I thought you said we were already prepared. 11:17 a.m. Hyrule Grand Court. It's not going all that well, is it? No. I think that went about as well as it could have, actually, given the circumstances. We exposed the worst of the princess's testimony as untrue. I can't believe she just makes stuff up like that. Now, there's no need to look so glum. Oh. Detective, aren't you supposed to be escorting the princess back? The carriage is being prepared. I thought I'd drop by in the meantime. If you listen carefully, you just might be able to hear him ranting over in the prosecutor's lobby. Oh, are we gonna eavesdrop on him? He's really giving his upcoming witness a grilling. One last thing. You, ranch girl, try not to hold that testimony against the princess. Believe me, I'm sure she was acting with the best of intentions in mind. You know the road to the Dark Realm was paved with those, right? Perhaps. It was definitely a serious lapse of judgment, one she will live to regret. Part of this comes from the fact that she's rather sheltered and inexperienced. After the sudden death... Whoa! After the sudden death of her older sister last year. So she had a sister? What the fuck? Yeah, Princess Zelda. Oh, shit. That's right. The mysterious death of the firstborn Princess Zelda. So that's why she doesn't look the same. Maybe it was the other Zelda that died. The one... Yeah. The princess will soon have a whole kingdom's worth of troubles. For a kingdom with a history as turbulent as ours, it's a lot to handle. Yeah, that's why the Zelda is younger than Link. Because it's not the other Zelda. Detective Impa! What is it, soldier? I'm quite busy at the moment, so please be quick. The investigation team back at the ranch just sent word of a new development. Something about a milk shipment being returned to the ranch because of a wrong recipient address. They're asking you to come over to see it. That did remind me, though. I took this bottle of milk from a couple guards. Here, ranch girl. Perhaps it'll calm your nerves somewhat. Oh? Thank you. I think I'm so nervous right now. Milk has just lost its flavor. Oops. Let me try some. Huh? You're right. I assume this would have come from one of yesterday's shipments? And this was all handled by Ingo, wasn't it? I think there's something odd going on. Note about the shipment's return added to the court record. Lon milk added to the court record. Court about to reconvene. Escort your client back to the courtroom at once. Sus. So it comes down to this. The conclusion's approaching. It's time to turn this around. Oh, we got our health back. Yo. I trust that the prosecution's final witness is ready? Naturally, I've personally seen to it that there will be no foolishness this time around. There he is, brother. It's funny to see Mr. Ingo in such fancy clothes. It's almost like looking at a different person. Well, I guess he wanted to dress up for court. He wouldn't want to get this nice outfit dirty by working in it. Nice music. Your Honor, great honorable prosecutor. My name is Ingo. I mind Lon Lon Ranch. Mind? What does that entail exactly? I'm mostly there to work on the structures and equipment. The owner and his daughter are the ones who tend to the animals and take care of orders. Hear my story, honorable court of law. Just a couple days ago, the owner, Talon, partly signed the ranch over to his daughter, Malin. Talon became a life tenant, with Malin meant to inherit all of the assets after his death. As long as Talon lived, Malin could not sell the ranch. Oh, so they're thinking she killed Talon so that she could get the ranch and sell it. It's appalling how ungrateful she is after all Talon did for her. And there you have it, testimony from a man who just lost everything. We have evidence. We have the defendant caught red-handed at the scene of the crime, and now we have a motive. How do we know he's telling the truth? I have, of course, verified the witness's testimony. As per the law, all inheritance documents must be filed at the Castletown Notary office to be considered valid. I saw fit to prepare this for the trial. The prosecution would like to submit the Lon Lon Ranch inheritance document into evidence. I would like to cross-examine the witness. There are a few more details I feel are relevant. Talon became a life tenant, with Malin meant to inherit all of the assets after his death. So Malin hadn't become the ranch owner yet. Of course not. Haven't you heard all the stories making rounds recently? So many ungrateful brats throwing their old folks into retirement homes the moment ownership signed to them. That's horrible. I'd never do that. As much as I'd like to believe that, you did much worse by killing him. Children these days. You feed them, you raise them, and they pull a stunt like this as soon as you give them an inch over yourself. I must concur. The younger generation is horrible. Why did he look at me while saying that? It's simple, isn't it? The girl killed Talon to get full ownership and leave the Gingy Ranch behind. Do you really think Malin would go that far? I don't want to think it, but clearly the events speak for themselves, don't they? Well, if Malin didn't want to work, wouldn't she have done this earlier? As Talon's only child, she'd still inherit the ranch. That's where you're wrong. For a long while, Talon planned to split the ranch between the girl and the crown. So this is where it kind of contradicts that piece of paper, right? Other employees. Why would Malin have planned the murder for the day of the royal visitation specifically? More people around means more witnesses. You'd think she would have chosen any other day. Oh, did I forget to mention this? I overheard Talon arguing with her that very morning. He was telling her he'd changed his mind again. After the visitation was over, he'd head to Castletown to change the inheritance back to the original split. What to do about this argument then? Add it to the testimony for sure. I overheard them arguing about the inheritance. About what time did this happen? First thing in the morning, I was heading out to the silo to start the day's work. Do you remember any specifics about what was said? Oh yes, it surprised me enough that I stopped to listen for a minute. It was all like, I'm real sorry, Malin, but the most important thing is to make sure the king will always have a steady supply of quality horses. I don't care. What about me, father? How can you do this to me? But what am I supposed to do? I can't move up in life if I'm stuck on this dump of a ranch forever. I thought you loved the ranch. All the animals are here, and Ingo's always around to help out with the chores, too. He's pretty great, isn't he? Yeah, Ingo's awesome, but I still hate you for this. This isn't over. What a stirring reenactment. Cinema. There's no way this actually happened, though. Malin would never want to sell the ranch. Do I have anything in the court record that could refute this story? It's appalling how ungrateful she is after all Talon did for her. No, you hold it. That man gave everything for her. She's gotten so many expensive presents over the years. Just look at that golden necklace she's wearing. That man spoiled her rotten. In fact, I think I saw another present he was meaning to give her on the very day he was killed. A little bottle of perfume, I believe. Oh, he knows about that. Was that last statement important? Add it to testimony. Yes, absolutely. He shouldn't know, right? He's not supposed to know about the perfume at all. There was no fucking way he could know about that if everything checked out. Talon often brought Malin gifts. I saw the latest one, some kind of perfume, I think. Okay. Where did you see this? I think it was just lying around the ranch house. Talon probably intended to give it to Malin on the day he was killed. You mean this, witness? Looks very expensive. If only Talon had spent as much of his salary for me, the hard-working Ingo. Okay, so I think we got all of them done. There's a few things I'm gonna try here. First, I'm gonna try this with this. No. Yeah, you have to... Like, I know the answer, but I don't know what triggers it. So, one sec. I want to try... What? Dude, I was trying to be, like, smart by going... Like, it showed the perfume before. He, like, he showed it to the guy. And so I didn't think to present it a second time. That's the only reason I didn't click that. I was overthinking that big time. Yeah. Just to confirm, you say that this bottle of perfume was bought for Malin by her father, correct? What else would it be for? Well, you're wrong, witness. The bottle of perfume was bought for the princess. Sure, it's technically a contradiction, but what does the purpose of this bottle change? Earlier in the trial, Malin mentioned that Talon bought the perfume in preparation last minute. Isn't that right, Malin? It sure is. We had a gift from the king prepared when the news arrived that it would actually be the princess making this visitation. Father quickly rode out into town to get a new gift. This info puts one thing into question. Someone's movements around the ranch are put into serious doubt. Someone's? Well, don't keep us waiting then, defense. Who is this person? Naturally, the person whose movements become suspect is Ingo. The witness himself. If you recall, the bottle of perfume which had just been purchased was found at the crime scene. A crime scene the witness supposedly never went to. He shouldn't have known about the bottle. Ah! I remember, I saw the gift the day before the crime. Ooh. The girl is lying. Talon must have gotten the gift the day before. You're the one who's lying. Father didn't leave the ranch at all that day. One's word against another's. Defense? Do you have any way to prove that your version of events is true? We don't have the receipt for the perfume. Should I just sniff her? Why, we should just smell the perfume. I guess this makes sense because we couldn't smell before, right? Great, you got the courtroom to smell like a kickweeze behind. Now what? How does this prove anything, defense? Right. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I was thinking we would accomplish there. That was bad. You usually get a receipt, and the receipt always shows the date of purchase. It might be at the ranch house. I say we send someone to look for it. Father never throws receipts away. We have a drawer full of them. Oh, okay. I believe this idea has some merits. Soldiers, rush out to the ranch house. Okay, dude. Sure, dude. We have just received the receipt from the team stationed at the crime scene. From Tingle's Mysterious Smells. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. That's crazy. The nerve of that dunderhead. Why would anyone ever shop at a store where the owner calls every other customer a fairy? Oh my god. Ah, yes, right. Date of purchase. Why, it's March 16th, the day of the murder. Get fucking wrecked, Ingo, you lying little bitch. Bah, this still doesn't mean anything. Perhaps the witness briefly went back to the ranch house for something and saw the bottle then. Yes, that's it. I was getting thirsty, so I went back to get a drink. Oh my god. I believe this calls for further testimony. As the witness now claims to have visited the crime scene shortly before the murder, we should learn of his exact movements that day. It's unfortunate that he managed to weasel out of that. But this next testimony will be full of lies. This is my chance. Bro, if these guys who made this, by the way, could just go ahead and make like 40 of these fucking cases, that would be fantastic. As was already stated, I had volunteered to work in the silo. At one point, I briefly went back to the ranch house to get myself a glass of water. I went back to the silo right after that and stayed there until the courier came. I haven't been back to the ranch house at all since then. At some point, the detective came and told me what happened, and wow, was that detective one fine woman! Oh my god. I had volunteered to work in the silo. What were you doing? Working on shipments and fulfilling orders. We send out crates of milk to milk bars all across the kingdom every day, you know. And our milk is renowned as the best there is. I hear some others water theirs down. Despicable. Oh, ooh. I think you said earlier that your job is to work on the structures and equipment, though? Indeed. Talon and the girl would usually be the ones overseeing milk orders. However, since the royal visitation was happening today, I felt they needed their minds unoccupied, so I took it upon myself to do it this time. You Hylians, ridiculous. Getting tipsy from something like milk? Bet you couldn't handle even a sip of the Gerudo's Noble Pursuit, a real man's drink. Yeah, bro, okay. A real man's drink? Aren't most the Gerudo women? That's so good, bro. I haven't been back to the ranch house at all since then. Are you sure? Sure as can be. You never went back in, even after the crime was discovered. They wouldn't let me in. After I was questioned, no one gave me half a glance. I had to sleep in the stables that night. It was terrible. It is important. Yeah, that is weird. I didn't even get to sleep or access any of my belongings. Couldn't you have stayed at an inn? But what am I, made of money? You lawyers always flaunting your wealth. Right, sorry. Not actually sorry. I doubt one night would bankrupt this guy. Just look at what he's wearing. Yeah. So he's wearing a fancy suit. And Malin said he never wears the suit. It's weird that he's wearing the suit. So if he had if he slept in the stable last night, his suit would be fucked. He didn't change into the suit. So something there. We need to figure out what contradicts the clothes statement. Oh, maybe this just works? It worked. Let's go. Yeah, it was about, we had to just prove the clothes thing. You say you couldn't get any of your belongings because they were all at the ranch house, correct? A ranch house you were not allowed to go in? That's right? Well, that would imply you should still be wearing your work clothes. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but those don't look like work clothes at all. Ah! The defense has a point. Grrr! I would say that too. Oh, of course. I can explain. It's simple. These are brand new. Yeah, on my way to the courthouse, I went shopping for a nice new outfit. Do I accept that explanation? You buying those clothes today is simply impossible. What? Oh, how can you claim so? Either prove that the witness couldn't have bought these clothes today or get out. Wait. Oh, is he wearing it in this he's wearing it here. This might be good. Yeah, this works. Okay, we're good. This photo is from Malin's childhood, but Ingo's very clearly wearing the same outfit he has on right now. He couldn't have bought it today. There, I think we finally got him. There's no way he can weasel out this time. And here it comes. Unless someone weasels out for him. Naturally, the witness knew he would need to wear his nice clothes for the royal visitation that was scheduled for that day. He brought them to the silo in advance so that he could quickly change just before the royal visitation's arrival. Oh. Yes, of course. I needed to be presentable after all. Wait a minute. This is insane. What kind of kangaroo court is this? The prosecution keeps making excuses up on the spot. Your Honor, surely you won't accept this blatant perjury. Accept it, Judge. Table smack. There can be no other explanation. Prosecutor's explanation does seem plausible. You know, this fucking guy, this judge is the worst. However, the fact that the witness didn't simply say it himself and instead made up a lie about buying the clothes is indeed very suspicious. Prosecution has posed that there is no other possible explanation for this contradiction. What is your opinion on the matter? Can the defense think of an alternative version of the events? This is big. I really need to think this through. Ingo is acting really sus right now. He's desperately trying to patch up holes in his testimony to conceal his real movements. Oh, fuck. What? Why would he be doing that? Ingo is the murderer. With that in mind, why would Ingo change out of his work clothes? What happened to make it necessary? Talon's blood got on them? He burned the clothes at the silo after he killed Talon. When Ingo killed Talon, his clothes must have gotten blood on them. But then, wouldn't the Sheikah force have found his clothes in the house? How could they have disappeared? They were thrown in a fire. Ingo burned his clothes! Fivehead. The defense formally accuses the witness of the murder. No! The reason he had to swap his outfit and why he's been lying about the circumstances ever since is because it got stained with the victim's blood. If there were any discarded bloody clothes nearby, the Sheikah force would have found them and we would be trying something else for murder right now. Why, you are absolutely correct, prosecutor. Huh? And so he used this to dispose of them. Your Honor, cast your mind to the princess's last testimony. The princess's, that mysterious fire. Surely you jest. You yourself made sure we all knew how meaningless her testimony was. And yet, with this new context in mind, it gains a completely new meaning. Ingo used this lamp oil to quickly burn away his stained work clothes. This is... No! Hold on! You already know that's impossible. Oh, fucking hell. Okay. Too busy for murder. Everything you've said is wrong. I have no idea what you're on about. I have an alibi for the time of the crime. I just couldn't have done it. There is no way I could have completed those milk shipments, killed Talon, and tried to hide my involvement. I have an alibi for the time of the crime. I just couldn't have done it. Could you explain what that alibi is again? At the time of the crime, I was busy preparing that day's shipment of milk. I barely had enough time to get them done before the courier came to take them. The Sheikah force itself has vouched for me. I have a feeling the thing where he like goes on, the milk gets returned back and tastes weird because it's watered down is going to come into play here. The There's no way I could have completed those milk shipments, killed Talon, and tried to hide my involvement. Completing these shipments is a rather involved process. You have to milk the cows, clean the bottles, pour the milk into them, put them into crates, and load those onto a wagon. I love working with the cows, but that part takes the longest because you only get a little at a time. In that case, there had to be some way for him to finish the work faster. I just have to find it. Which one would I use this on, though? Hang on. I guess this one, maybe? Yeah, it worked. Let's go. First try. Ah, but did you, though? Did he really complete those shipments properly? Here you go, Your Honor. Huh? Milk for me? Are you trying to bribe the judge now? I didn't think you'd stoop so low. Oh, it's nothing like that. All I'm asking is that His Honor try tasting the milk. Just one little sip. This is highly irregular. Sipja. But to be honest, I could use a drink. All this talking does make one's throat dry, you know. You've probably talked the least out of everyone here, though. Is this what passes for milk these days? This almost tastes like water. I have to agree. This is definitely not standard milk. As we've heard from the princess and the detective, Lon Lon Ranch is renowned for the quality of its products. I received this bottle from Detective Impa still unopened during the first recess. It's true that Ingo couldn't have murdered Talon and also completed the shipments on his own. Unless he cheated. Ingo watered down the milk to get the shipments done in time. Order, order. Yes, I suppose that would work. This is no! That Talon. Let me stop you right there. I will concede that something odd happened to that shipment. But all you have proven is that Ingo is a slacker. Sure, Ingo watered down the milk. That doesn't make him a killer though, does it? But now we do know that he definitely could have done it. Yet there is a vital element missing still. Let me put it in simple terms, so even an idiot like you can understand. Uh-oh. A murder weapon. You lack the murder weapon. If Ingo was the murderer, then it couldn't have been the saw. Hold it. And why is that? It's simple. If the girl's story about working on the fence is true, then she was using the saw while her father was being murdered. It couldn't have been in two places at the same time. Oh, shit. I believe we're in complete agreement on this point. Let's just see. Where would this supposed other murder weapon have even come from? Okay, so this... I want to do this. Happened on a ranch? Okay, yo, 5 head? There are plenty of sharp things on site. Oh! That's simply impossible. We checked all sharp objects on the ranch and searched everyone. No fresh blood was found anywhere else. Couldn't Ingo just have dispose of it in some way? Huh, that's impossible, you see. No items from the ranch's inventory list were missing. And that list is indisputable. How can you be so sure the inventory is accurate? Use your head. There was a royal visitation scheduled for that day. The ranch owner needed everything to be in order. He would have double, even triple checked that list when he wrote it. I suppose he would have, but what can we use? The list just has... It has his name on it, huh? He wrote the list himself. The inventory list itself is false! Got him, boys. Oh, fascinating. What exactly makes you question the veracity of this document? That would be Something about the inventory itself. You only need a brief look at the inventory to see it can't be trusted. Ho ho! Point out what exactly about the inventory makes it sus. Oh, you actually get to do it. Ingo, take that. Just look here. The one who compiled the list was Ingo himself. Dun 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 dun. He could have easily falsified the counts as part of his plan. Got him right in the ball sack. Okay. Nothing could have left the ranch. This is the most important point. Has nothing really been able to leave? It's this. Are you really sure? What about a few little shipments of milk? Preposterous. Have you forgotten that said shipments have been checked by the Sheikah force before they were allowed to leave? That's true, but there was a place the Sheikah could have overlooked. Where could they have missed a murder weapon? It's simple. They overlooked the contents of the crates, the contents of the bottles. Not the contents of the bottles. It's the bottom or the top one for sure. I'll try the bottom one. No way. No, dude. No, I have one heart left. Wait, what? I think I saved after. Retry the last scene, yes. Okay. Oh, we're so back, dude. It's fine. Where could they have missed a murder weapon? So I guess it's the contents of the bottles. There was a knife in the bottles. That's right. Ingo put the murder weapon inside one of the bottles to conceal it from the search. That does seem plausible. A weapon in a milk bottle wouldn't just go unnoticed. Someone would have reported it. Do you even know how much milk an average milk bar uses each day? Someone drinking from that bottle would have found it for sure, choked on it, even if they took too large a swig. It would be a huge scandal. Well, he's right about that, but he's missing some vital info. The returned crate, dude, yeah. So now we get to do this. Ooh, good noise. You would be correct that a weapon showing up in someone's milkshake would cause quite a stir. If the milk ever actually made it to any milk bar, that is. Word was sent from the ranch not long ago that one of the shipments was returned unopened due to being misaddressed. Now that's strange. The ranch supplies the same milk bars every day. How could he have bungled it that badly? It's almost as if he didn't want anyone receiving a bottle of milk with a murder weapon in it. I believe this calls for us to investigate these boxes of milk more closely. Soldiers, have these boxes retrieved from the ranch immediately. Argument complete. Grr. Why would I kill Talon? That's simple. Why, I'm surprised you're even asking about it. The very inheritance document you brought to the court's attention states the following. In case of the testator's death, his daughter, Malin of Lon Lon Ranch, will inherit the ranch, unless she is unable to oversee it, in which case it shall be divided between the crown and the remaining employees. You not only killed Talon, but decided to frame Malin from the crime as well, so you would be the one to inherit part of the ranch. That's why you volunteered to work in the silo all day. It gave you an alibi so that Malin would be the only possible culprit. Of course, you knew about the royal visitation in advance. You knew Malin would go back to the ranch house to prepare before they arrived. Your Honor, what is it, soldier? Well, let's see for ourselves then, shall we? The part of the shipment that proves my case is... Yes, this one? Take that. Here it is. From the bottle with a slight red tint to the milk. Either way, no matter how you slice it, this proves my theory right. Oh, I've had it. Fine, fine. You want to know why? You want to know why I really killed that scumbag? Oh shit, here it comes. The crash out, dude. It's the crash out. What would you do if one day, after years of back-breaking labor, despite putting your all into a ranch, you were thrown away like rubbish without any reason, fired, farewell, we don't need you anymore. I was just returning back from another day of spine-wrenching work, and lo and behold, what's this? Malin and Talon are talking behind my back? I heard it all. We'll let him go after the visitation. We can handle things without him. And so, after volunteering to work on that shipment, I quietly slipped out while the girl was busy and shanked the good-for-nothing slacker. Oh my god, bro. And he deserved it. Oh my god. I think we've heard enough. Soldiers, take him away. Wait just a moment. Yes, girl. Want to apologize for what you've done? Apologize? Me? You're horrible. We weren't planning to fire at all. What? We've had so much work recently. Gotta make sure everything's in tip-top shape. I do worry somewhat about old Ingo, though. Maybe we should convince him to take a vacation? I'll discuss it with him after the visitation. Bruh. After things calm down, we can handle everything without him. You were planning... What? Please say it ain't so. The cock. What the fuck? What? Oh, death by a million cocks, bro. Death by cocks. Oh, the big cock. Young miss, I'm very sorry for the situation you have found yourself in. Now then, without further ado, in the name of Goddess Hylia and the sacred land of Hyrule, I hereby find Malin of Lon Lon Ranch innocent. Court is adjourned. Firm handshakes all around, chat. Let's fucking go. Uh-oh. You! Hello! Nice day we're having, isn't it? To have my reputation tarnished this way by some novice attorney from the boonies. Don't be such a sore loser. You lost. Deal with it. Yeah, we got the right verdict. Doesn't that make you even a little bit glad? Yes, I suppose there is some worth in that. What transpired is most unfortunate. I can only offer my condolences. Just remember that it was the meddling of that idiotic princess and that stupidity of that blasted detective that led to your arrest. So if you have any grievances, take it up with them. Well, that sure was something. I don't know if he was being sincere or just wanted to shift blame onto someone else. Never mind that. Do you think you'll be alright running the ranch by yourself? Of course I'll come visit, but I have my attorney duties too. I'll get in touch with the castle, see if they can spare some men to work at the ranch. Silly as my father may have seemed, he really did prepare me to take over one day, so he's taught me well. I really want to thank you for bringing the truth to light. If it wasn't for you, I don't even want to think what could have happened. Don't mention it. I'm just glad everything worked out in the end. Bro, this was so fucking good. Shout out to Scowo, dude. Wait, really? Tronco, is it a long trial? How long does that take? Extra 1 is now unlocked. Extra 1? What the fuck? Super Talon game. No way, dude. What? What the I didn't do that. He just did that. Oh my god, this is so jank, dude. No effing way, bro. First try. Mushroom. Okay, extra 3. The case contains spoilers for Link's Awakening. Interesting. Okay. Phew, made it in time, I guess. Still no clue why on earth they called me in here at this ungodly hour. You. No way, dude. Ah, I see you're both already here. This trial must happen this very moment. Well, get on with it then, old man. Right, yes, of course. A few hours ago, I was finishing my daily ablutions, or ablutions, I don't know how you say that, when a great light appeared within my chambers. The night literally became day before my very eyes. And that wasn't all. People started to come out of the light. I was shaken with fear. One of those people claimed to be the goddess herself, Hylia. Oh. What? The goddess proceeded to explain that in another world, one of her chosen heroes had been severely punished for committing some terrible deed. She decided that someone else should determine whether this punishment was just or not, and to ensure her own biases would not affect the outcome. Our own world was chosen as the best candidate to make this judgment. There's no way any of that is true. This is insane. Yes, it seems the judge has completely lost his marbles. Oh ho, I believe I know of just the way to convince you two. Soldiers, please call in the defendant. Defendant? What the? What? The fuck? Well, defense? Are you convinced now? I guess so? Excellent. In that case, let us formally begin. This court is now in session for the trial of L, thief of Koholint Island. Your Honor, you can't just declare him the thief from the get-go. No, of course not. I have his name written down right here. It seems I'm just unable to say it. I assume this is the punishment we're to decide is just or not. Just? How could this be just? To be forever called a thief by everyone? Even I can't say my own name anymore. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it seems right to me. The defense demands the prosecution abstain from claiming unproven statements. I firmly believe my client innocent, of course. Oh. Well, about that, I might have actually done it. Yes, Her Greatness did specify that the defendant's guilt was non-negotiable. We are only here to determine whether the punishment he faced for it was reasonable. Now then, prosecution, please give your opening statement. What? I don't know anything about this case, old man. You only just called us in here, remember? Well, I suppose Actually, why don't we just let the victim describe what happened? All right, who are you then? Ah, yeah. Myself, I own the tool shop back on Koholint. I do. So yeah, for those that don't know, if I remember Link's Awakening correctly, I'm pretty sure if you take something from the shop, your name gets rewritten as thief for the remainder of the game. How did you let yourself get swindled so easily? Hey, I'll say it all. Just you watch me. 'Twas just a normal day. I was tending to me cash register. Then suddenly this kid bursts in, a green blur, I tells ye. Why is he like Jamaican? He grabs the nearest thing and runs behind meself. So I turn around. But he ain't there anymore. So I turn back to the entrance. Ay, caramba! He's gone! I can't afford me wares going for free, you know? They're already cheap as possible, why I oughta. Well, I suppose he did already pay the ultimate price. Hold on, there's just one thing I'm confused about. Who was it that set this curse or whatever it is on my client? Yup, 'twas me, of course. What kind of shopkeeper would I be without so much magic? Without further ado, please proceed to the cross-exam. He grabs the nearest thing and runs behind meself. What is that was stolen anyway? Why's that matter? He stole something, and that's that. No need to be getting into the nitty-gritty. As it happens, defense, the goddess herself forbade us from talking about this. She called it technical limitation, whatever that means. What? Well, that's the most important question here. If it was something cheap, surely we can agree this punishment is too severe. Oh, don't look so glum, chum. There you go. Oh, we got evidence. There you go. This is a flyer with all my wares that should give you an idea what it might have been. Well, I suppose he did already pay the ultimate price. What does that mean? Oh, that's right. This guy literally killed me when I went back into the store. Surely death is enough of a punishment for theft. Well, what did the witness mean by the ultimate price then? Oh ho, why I just meant the curse I set on him, didn't I? Okay, I'm starting to get goosebumps, but surely that is all there is to it. So let's take a look at this. A bow, a shovel, a shield. I don't know, what should we put it on? Can't afford... Here, let's try this one. Yeah, okay, it was the prices. Cheap, you say? That's not quite true now, is it? Yeah, $8 trillion bow. Goodness gracious. 980 rupees for a simple bow? Why, that's more than I get paid in... All the villagers be happy with me shop. No one's ever complained, you know? Is that so, witness? Tell me, how many customers do you get each day? That's not important. It's all because of that blasted trendy game. Not me fault folks prefer to play with that stupid crane. I will agree that the prices are a bit inflated. So what? What do you mean, so what? My other self needed to survive somehow, and the prices were entirely unreasonable. I was shipwrecked. It would have taken me months to get that kind of money. It was a life or death situation. Life or death, you say? Tell me, which one of the items listed in that flyer is necessary for survival precisely? Well, for instance... Maybe the recovery hearts? 10 rupees is way too much for those. Oh, I agree. That's a terrible deal, given that you can get them by just cutting some grass. Yeah. Oh. That was good, dude. Yeah, everything this store carried that one might need for survival could have been easily obtained elsewhere. The defendant has no pressing need. I wasn't just trying to survive, I was trying to leave the island. And how would you do that using this set of items, pray tell? Were you planning to paddle off the island with a shovel? No, not directly like that. The island can't be escaped by normal means. I needed them to wake the windfish. The heck is a windfish? So you knew it needed to be awakened because an owl told me. Are you trying not to make sense at this point? Hoot hoot, perhaps I can shed some light on this particular matter. No fucking way, dude. Oh my god, bro, no way. Oh my god, they got the music too. This is sick, dude. Yes, of course, everything the brave young lad has said is true. He is on a special quest, and Koholint's no regular island at all. If you'll allow me, I can explain everything. Hoot hoot. Oh, thank the goddesses. Alright, let's hear it. Koholin's very existence, its very essence, Hoot. It is tied to the windfish's slumber. As long as the windfish sleeps, the island cannot be escaped, like a terrible nightmare. The young sword-bearer must thus search for the 8 instruments of the sirens, and play the ballad that will wake the Great One. With the instruments all united, the windfish's slumber shall come to an end, and so shall Koholint. That didn't explain anything either. Perhaps that was not as clear as I'd hoped. Do forgive me, over-mystifying is a bit of an occupational hazard for our kind. Ain't that the truth? Koholint's very... okay. Well, let's start with the dodongo in the room. What the heck is a windfish? The windfish, the Leviathan, is a huge whale. Right, a deity whale. I'd bring up the fact that whales are not fish, but at this point, I don't think it really matters. The young sword-bearer must thus search for the 8 instruments of the sirens and play the ballad that will wake the Great One. Well, how does one obtain these elusive instruments exactly? The instruments of the sirens sleep deep within temples scattered across the land. It appears... yes, it appears that our worlds may differ from each other more significantly than I thought. I cannot feel him here. How strange. In our land, since the very beginning of time, an evil influence has permeated all. The King of Evil. The Demon Lord, Ganon. The King of Evil, Ganon? So he noticed too. Could it just be a coincidence? Naturally, when I speak of vanquishing foes, I speak of his creations. And yet, here is a world without him. Is your world lucky to have been spared, or has ours been particularly unlucky? Perhaps this is even the very reason her grace has chosen this world to send us to. Right. Can we get back to the matter at hand then? Why, Hoot, of course, I was just musing aloud. After all we've heard here, I think one thing has been made clear. My client has truly found himself in a life or death sitch. This testimony fully corroborates that. On top of that, to escape the island, he had to go on a life-threatening quest. In order to survive this ordeal, he needed to be as well equipped as possible, and the only way to get the needed equipment was from the store, which was charging exorbitant prices. These are all clear mitigating factors. And with that in mind, the defense asserts his punishment is far too severe. It appears that the theft might have been necessary given his situation. And so this court finds the defendant... oh, fuck, we were so close. Surely you don't mean to tell me that you've woken me in the dead of night just to make a farce out of this trial? Farce? Yes, he had a reason to do what he did. All criminals have reason. That's no justification. It wasn't just any reason. Survival was at stake. Was it, though? You've said that the defendant was to go visit a bunch of dusty old temples in search of the instruments. Tell me, were those instruments the only things in there? Oot? No, I suppose they were not. Why, yes, I'm sure there would be a lot of treasure left in there too. Wait a moment, it wouldn't be that easy. Those places were full of monsters and traps. Without any equipment, it would be too dangerous to go alone. Oh, how quickly you've forgotten, defense. Try to recall this flying menace's words from just a few moments ago. The young sword-bearer. Our little kleptomaniac had a perfectly good sword with him. He wasn't barehanded at all. Oh, shit. Either way, the defendant might have had a reason for his theft. But I'd say that reason was likely nothing but selfishness. Rip. You wanted to keep the treasure? Now, barrister, that's not even remotely possible. All of the treasure, as part of Koholint, would naturally disappear with it. The twerp might not have known that. Oh, come on, I just admit you're wrong. The prosecution has brought up some good points, but so has the defense. Furthermore, we seem to be out of testimony to discuss at this point. This will be a hard decision to make. There was something you kept bringing up in your testimony, Mr. Witness. You often mention that Koholint is like a dream or a nightmare. How literal is that? What are you going on about now? Of course. Oh, no, it very much is. What? We are in a dream right now, too, in fact. I should have known this whole thing was just way too fantastical. Well then, now that we've made that clear, I'm just going to go and wake up if you don't mind. Why, that might be the wisest thing you've proposed so far, Defense. But of course, it's not going to be you waking up. I'm the only real person here. You can't just wake up. What about me? What about you? You're clearly just an invention of my mind, brat. No, this won't do. I will just have to wake up now. Here goes. I have said that this is a dream, yes, but why would that mean that nothing here is real? Oh, be quiet, you pile of feathers. I banish you from my dream. Be gone. What is this? Am I stuck in this nightmare? Oh, well, naturally, only one person here can actually control the dream. Everyone else is just along for the ride, so to speak. Her Grace chose one person to be the host and then thrust the others into it. Well, who is it then? Who is the one controlling the stream? That is something you'll have to find out for yourself. Whoever it is will have the final word in this trial. Who the fuck is the guy in the... Is the frog at the back there? Did you see that? Who is the one that Her Grace Hylia chose to control the stream? Could it be one of these people? Neither of them. Who does that leave? The owl, the shopkeeper, neither of them. The thief isn't the one in control, so who does that leave? I'm in control. It's me. I am the host. What? I am this dream's windfish. That's it. There's no doubt about it. What are you looking so smug about? Isn't it obvious? I've just realized who must be the one controlling the stream. No, it can't be. Oh my. You mean you're the one? Well, let's give it a try, shall we? Nice Poe sound. Hello, everyone. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Now this stream's getting good. Fucking gooner. I won't stand for this. You can't just give yourself an easier opponent. That's a shame. Well, wait. Who will give the verdict now? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Will the defendant please step up to the stand? I thought the goddess wanted a fair trial. Actually, she requested no such thing. What? The way the judge put it, the only stipulation was that someone else decide your fate. She decided that someone else should determine whether this punishment was just or not to ensure her own biases would not affect the outcome. This court finds the defendant... No way. Wait, I'm not having this. My product was still stolen, you know. What kind of justice is that? Don't interrupt me. He just yeeted him, dude. Now then, once again, the court finds the defendant not guilty. Aw, yeah. Let's go. Fuck the guy. Glad to hear that. Best of luck on your quest. And with that, court is adjourned. That's right, I stayed to catch up on work. I guess I must have fallen asleep reading case files. Man, what a crazy dream, though. Bro, this is so freaking fire. This is so awesome, by the way. I just want to say how unbelievably fun this is. This was unbelievably fun. Like, this was the most fun thing I've played in a very long time. I enjoyed the shit out of this. We'll definitely make a fun video out of it to let people know.